So now we're live. Um, let's go to my Facebook page. Do I see anything? Am I live? Oh, you okay? You shared it. Okay, cool. Let's see. I'm on my Facebook page here. Oh, I see myself. We're live. We're live. All right. So awesome.
They say you're live on Facebook too. You're
Yeah,
saying
we're on live. People are watching what you just. People heard what you just said.
that's
I'm looking at myself. Hold on. All right. If you're listening right now, let me just take a picture for Richard so he sees what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I know. I might be able to see you. Yep, that's not it.
All right, I'm gonna send it to your phone right now. In the meantime, hello everybody, and welcome to the Ryan Mercer Show with Richard Masso. And we're here as promised. It's 8 p.m. It's Thursday night. It's Law and Order Thursdays, and we're still in the middle of a crossover event. Correct?
I don't think we are.
Okay, so that's ended. So you just saw.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think. I think they're gonna. I think they would advertise the heck out of it if they're crossovering. They'll do it one more time before the end of the season. In my opinion.
No, I agree with you. So before we move forward with what happened last week, I'm going to kick it to Richard because I got to be honest with you. When Alexis, my oldest, was born, so we're talking 15 years ago now, I remember Law and Order was on every night, right? Without fail. It was on TNT, USA, or NBC, and you watched it, you loved it, you were sucked in. I couldn't get enough of it. That took place for like 3 years, and then I think if you remember, like there was a point where TNT, it was like watch Law and Order all day, like all day, like Law and Order SVU all day, and people were all about it. People were sucked in. We're on the 12th season, right?
Of
SVU?
22nd.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Why did
I know you meant. I know that's what you meant.
Oh, no, you know what? I'm sorry. Monica and I have been watching.
I apologize. You're on your.
Yeah, no, you're right. I got confused. Monica and I have been watching or catching up on Hulu, so we're on season 12 right now. But yes, 22 seasons. That's unreal for like anything. Like I think even NYPD Blue was like.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, not even. It wasn't even that. Whatever you're saying.
Yeah, and so I mean, outstanding. So I fell off the train for a little bit. My two detectives were Stabler and Benson. Monica and I have been in the market for a TV show, if you will, to get back into. And when I saw the trailer for Criminal Intent, I was sucked in. I love Christopher Maloney. I love him as Elliot Stabler. I think he's, like I said on Facebook, watched a lot of police movies, watched a lot of TV shows. For some reason, he stands out. I know he's a fan favorite. I know people were upset when he left, but I was glad to see him back. So now I'm sucked back in. I think Richard's been a little more involved than I am. So give me your take on where you're at right now with SVU, and then we'll go into Criminal Intent.
Sure. And, SVU has been very much for me. It's been background. It's been background noise. Definitely have coworkers and friends and people in my life who. One second, sorry. They've been, like super. Would come in and work and discuss it, different things like that, and so I've paid enough attention to kind of know what's been happening. Shanna asked me a great question today, which should be our first trivia question, but she's like, why do I see the same episodes over and over again? And I was like, yeah, because USA is paying for like 7 seasons right now, and Ion is paying for 6 seasons, and there's another 6 seasons on Peacock. When you have 22 seasons, and so it's that funny thing of like, I've probably watched more episodes of SVU than pretty much any other show, but it really is. It's like I'm doing my homework when I was in college. I'm, checking grades. I'm doing, it's there, and I find it amazing because it is so successful because you don't need to watch one episode to understand another episode. And that is their success. If we sat here and we were doing a podcast about our favorite shows, 24, Lost, Homeland, all these shows, I was speaking for you, all these shows would come up. But, the beauty of SVU is you can turn on SVU tomorrow at 1:00 and you can watch that whole episode and understand everything. You try to watch the 3rd season, episode 4 of Lost, or 3rd season, episode 5 of Homeland, like Game of Thrones, any of these shows, you're gonna be lost. And so that's why we don't flip around USA and TNT and see Lost and 24 and some of these shows on, because they realized the ratings didn't work out after the first viewing. People were like, yeah, I don't know what's happening. They have very, you had to see the episode before to fully understand. And SVU has nailed that concept of, yes, Benson's had a child. Stabler's moved on. Stabler's had issues with his family. Like all these little things that, they say one sentence, and Olivia goes, well, after that stress of the adoption, and you're like, okay, I got it. Like I didn't. So yeah, I really think that's what they've nailed perfectly, besides really good acting,
Well, yeah, and I was thinking actually, because so when Monica and I started getting caught up, I actually it was just the wrong episode. We started halfway through because, like you said, you don't have to go all the way back to the beginning. So we started on season 11, and at one point, like the first episode, I was like, I don't remember it being this cheesy. It was just again the wrong episode. As the season progressed and everything moved along, I was like you just said, I'm sucked in. I want to keep watching. There's really no, continuous storyline going. And then I was comparing it to NYPD Blue because I was like, what's the difference between NYPD Blue and Law and Order? They're both great crime dramas. NYPD Blue, you focused on the characters, the detectives,
sure, right.
The squad as they referred to it. You became invested. Like I remember when Andy Sipowicz took that final walk, before the last episode when he was in his uniform and they were clapping for him. I cried. I cried because what's his name? Dennis Franz. I think maybe the best character development I've ever seen from a raging alcoholic who couldn't keep his life together. As the season progressed, you become invested. You feel for him. He's lost a son. He's lost a wife. He's overcome alcoholism. Two of his partners were murdered, and you felt it, and it was done well. And the crime was like, it was the background. You know what I mean? Whatever was going on case-wise, it was the background story. Meanwhile, you were developing with these characters. Now, going back to what you just said about Law & Order SVU, right, you can turn it on at any time. You can watch it. You can be entertained. And I think, I don't think we're saying that that's boring, but I think it speaks to the casting and, like, the chemistry, like, you're still sucked in. You still love Benson. You love Stabler. You love.
Yeah, I wish I was a big enough fan to name, because there are detectives besides Ice-T and Richard Belzer. Like
I was just about to say Munch.
Munch, and I could never say Ice-T's real name on there, but but there's like a
Chihuahua.
yeah. But there's a couple detectives who've been there as longer than Maloney was on there. Stabler was on there, but they just don't hit you. I mean, they nailed the success with that first group. I have to be careful some of my trivia questions for later. I don't want to give away some of my facts, but the other running joke is you can't watch an episode of Law and Order without seeing an actor who went on. Like you name the actor, they're on. And if you go all the way back to the original, late '80s regular Law and Order, but right. Everyone is on Law and Order SVU. Criminal Intent. I forgot that, and this is not a trivia question, but there were that should have been one of the trivia questions. Like there were a couple Law and Order, Trial by Jury, Law and Order, things that either had one episode or half a season that didn't quite work out.
A lot of people don't like Criminal Intent. I thought D'Onofrio knocked out of the park.
Shanna does not like Criminal Intent. It is absolutely my favorite. And then when they went with Christopher Noth, Mr. Big from Sex and the City, because they would have him and the Italian lady. Anyway, forget anything I'm saying. But they would do alternating weeks so that it wasn't always about what D'Onofrio and the other woman were doing. Then the other week would be this Christopher Noth and his partner.
And I wonder if people remember Christopher Noth was actually the one of the first detectives on Law and Order, the original.
Right. Yes. Right. Yeah. No, he was right.
And they brought him back. But yeah, I like Criminal Intent. And yeah, like Law and Order SVU, it sucks you in. The chemistry, it speaks to the acting. It works. I actually, I think it's one of those shows where I might get scolded for this, but you don't need the detectives to have these in-depth background stories. I was on the season where Maria Bello came on, and
Okay.
there was that back and forth where you thought maybe she was Benson's sister and this and that. I was like, I didn't need this. I love Maria Bello. I think she's a fabulous actress. I was excited to see her, but I remember I was like, I didn't need this background story. Everything would have been fine without it.
And that's the thing, like you, you know, like in this week's episode, last week's episode of SVU, when Benson's out playing with her son, you know, and I'm like, all right, like I saw one episode where she adopted a kid, and honestly, this is maybe a more of a Richard thing. Like, I can watch a football game on Monday Night Football, you know, on NBC, or Sunday Night Football on NBC, and like the commercial where it shows like Benson grabbing Noah before he runs into traffic, you know, and then like there's a knock on the door. Hey, we're Child Protective Services. Your son has, you know, marks on his arm because you grabbed him. Like, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's interesting. But if you watch the show, like that's just a minor part of the show, you know, like it doesn't tell you much more than that. And I mean, that's the thing, like you said, be careful. In no way is this an insult to the show, because really hard to insult a show that's been on the air for 22 years, you know, but
right,
with, you know, some of the same actors being on it the entire time, and also changing the cast as much as they have, you know, but it really is. It's just interesting that, and I don't want to jump on over your questions. It's interesting. The criticism I'm seeing of last week, you know, are just so, the people who watch Law and Order SVU, they want their little bit of story advancement. They want to focus on a crime, some horrible crime. I think they win the case 9 times out of 10. They absolutely lose a case every once in a while. It is heartbreaking, you know, but they are really, it's funny. We haven't been on camera in so long. I'm like, oh, I have to be conscious of what I'm doing. I have clothes on. That's a great first start.
And real quick, I'm sorry, to the 6 of you that are watching, stay with us, all right? We're going to jump into organized crime and Law and Order SVU, the crossover event that took place last week. And we also have the trivia coming up. And don't worry, we're not going to be here all night, even though I know you want to see us.
No, we have to be out before,
Exactly. You have to be over before Law and Order Thursdays. So stick with us. We're going to do the trivia towards the end. So if you need to go do something, definitely check back in around 9:45 or so. But I'm sorry, yes.
Make it 8:45.
Oh, yeah, 8:45. I'm sorry. Because we don't want to go into Law and Order. But yeah, I'm sorry, as you were.
Yeah, so I'm going to save my thoughts. Let's talk about last week's show.
Let's do it.
You know, and again, I'm sorry, apologies to those of you living in the 2020s. I still have a TiVo. It still does. I'm addicted to my TiVo. It does the job. I love that we lost viewers when you told me. They're like, all right, can viewers come back? They're like, we're here for the trivia. We told them this is where the person like the producer would be screaming in your ear, like, no, that's the. So for the first time in 15 years of having a TiVo, I recorded a Law and Order episode because I was like, yeah, there's enough hype about this, and I want to see. I liked Criminal Intent so much. I should backtrack. I did set the TiVo to record Criminal Intent because those episodes were, you know, they were Law and Order SVU just and Law and Order on steroids. Like it was just
right.
Again, and yeah, it was D'Onofrio is awesome. Like, and he was so chaotic, and he was so, you know. So that's the first thing. I recorded both last week. I don't know what I thought I was going to see. I don't know what in the world I thought was. So in the first episode, they got right into it. There was no like, you know, they show up. You know, unfortunately, you know, there's a. I don't know how much we're trying not to spoil things, but spoilers if those of you are watching us and haven't seen it yet. Yeah. So Benson is supposed to be winning an award or given an award for service, and she goes to.
Real quick, I'm sorry, Captain Benson now.
Captain Benson, yes. Later on in the trivia contest, I will refer to her. I think, anyone listening can tell me if I'm wrong. I think it's Detective Lieutenant Captain. I don't know if she was ever like anything in between, like if she was a sergeant for a minute or something. But yeah, Captain Benson, which is, side note, very interesting because when we saw Captain Krager, when we saw the captain who's been the captain since the first episode, He was never out of that office.
No, never,
Yeah.
never on the
Like,
show. Yeah.
but Captain Benson is still going. You know, like they needed to advance her career after 20 years. That made sense, but they you know.
Yeah.
So she's on her way to receive an award, and she sees a car accident, and she recognizes that the victim of the car accident is Stabler's wife, Kathy. And we have not seen anything, or I don't mean we've barely even heard anything about Stabler since well over 10, 11 years.
Right.
So, which is interesting because they will bring back ADAs, they will bring back certain police officers, you know, like Dean Winters, who played her lover, like he will appear in an episode or two. Like Maloney left, and and with him his character Stabler stayed away, and they need to do this little crossover to kind of, I guess, give more relevance to his show. And yeah, and so we have a mystery now. Who has blown up Kathy Stabler in the car? I believe, and please, like I always say, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I believe this is like there was no other case.
No, this was it.
And, and again,
dedicated.
There are 22 times 22, like 450 plus episodes of this show. I'm wondering how often SVU there was no sexual victims, like there was no sex crime. Like, I don't know if they've ever done that before. I'm sure it's happened from time to time, but the focus was on how much they could help out Stabler and figure out who tried to blow him up. And that's where we learn Stabler's been kind of working in Italy, working with, I honestly, knowing that the next show was going to be called Organized Crime, I thought one of the secrets we were going to find out was he had been working for an organized crime unit the whole time.
Like Deep Cover or something?
Like Deep Cover. Like, and that's the thing. I thought that's what he was eventually, but apparently he was just working as a liaison for New York with Italy, which, Shanna turns to me, is like, is that a thing? And I'm like, sounds reasonable enough. Like, New York City's huge. They might have an Italian resource officer over there. I don't know.
So I'm going to drop a little bit of real knowledge for
please,
everybody. Yeah. So to what Richard just said, if you're thinking that that's a little bit out of the norm, maybe it didn't happen, it actually is not too far out of the norm. Just so everybody knows, after 9/11, the NYPD was granted like the biggest police budget ever. Like, they have an anti-terror task force. They have, some of their units have been, they're no longer part of the department, but yes, they have an absolutely huge budget. If you've ever been to Times Square, New York Times Square, well, not COVID, but when things are busy and normal, there are heavily armed police officers in Times Square and in the area and at Port Authority. And, working in hotels in New York, people would often come to me and be like, is something wrong? It's no, just, after 9/11, it's the way the NYPD operates. They're proactive. They will never let anything like that happen ever again. And so if you're listening and you watch the show and you thought that fact might be a little far-fetched, it is not. There probably is some sort of unit in, certain countries where they keep an eye on things with anti-terror. So,
so it's kind of cool to know that it was not just made up for TV. That
would have been cheesy. Yeah.
Yeah. But even so, I mean, it sounds right. And it is right. For me, and this is one where, I wish we had more people chiming in, we were taking calls. So please, if anyone has moments that stuck out for them, for me, what I was most looking forward to, and they delivered it, was, Maloney was famous, and I keep calling him Maloney instead of Stabler, but Stabler was famous for his first 12 seasons is, he's punching a hole in the wall behind the perp's head. He's
right. Yeah.
He's going to slant, and here he is with the suspect who he thinks killed his wife. And he's somehow supposed to be like, well, here are the, let me follow protocol. I was waiting for an explosion by him. I was waiting for, right. And then of course here's, Captain Benson trying to keep him calm. And, again, should never have been in the, and was a really interesting scene for me because I've seen some behind the scenes stuff where the cast of Law and Order is actually trained by New York police psychologists, like they've taken training in how to talk the talk, and
Right.
how, like the days of good cop, bad cop don't exist. The days of, like, burning a cigarette in someone, they don't exist anymore in
Yeah.
theory, but
Right.
they don't exist. And how, and especially with how having to deal with victims of abuse. Uh, so yeah, and again, if anyone who watches the first few seasons and and then catches a season 20 on episode, yeah, they talk absolutely different to the suspects and stuff. So it was that part was interesting, because yeah, I was expecting him to throw to throw the suspect out the window, and they made the suspect horrendous, like so nasty, so mean,
Right. Right.
like, oh, that was your wife, oh well, too bad, and yeah, and then again, it just kind of, they follow some breadcrumbs, and unfortunately, his wife does not survive. We get to see, and I believe, I love, this is another segment called Richard Did No Research, but I believe all of the children were the original
Yeah.
children.
I believe
You know,
so. Also. Yeah.
maybe the youngest isn't, but everyone, yeah, everyone was one of the kids, which is just crazy that, like, you some of the first season episodes was about how his oldest daughter, who was 13, 14, was like, you know, I think she was kidnapped, or she might have been doing drugs, and now she's 37. She has a life, and and again,
Yeah.
they all resent dad. They all, they all,
Yeah. And
and
that's it.
this, yeah,
I was going to say, that's an ongoing trend as we see in TV's movie. Dad worked too many hours. Dad, was too invested in or mom even was too invested in the case, the job as they referred to it. So I think that was I thought that was pretty well done, very well done actually. One of the things, like, to speak to what you just said about the times changing, was they I think they even said it. They were like, listen, the way Stabler used to operate, we don't operate like that anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's true. Like it's a different time. There's room for reform, and they acknowledge it. And yeah, going back to like the '90s, you see the guy getting his face jammed up against the mirror, or they smack him around a little bit. NYPD Blue, that was Andy Sipowicz was big for that. He would roll up his sleeves and stuff. But I thought that one of the things that they did that I really enjoyed or did well was they I love when TV shows or movies acknowledge that the main character is getting a little bit older. And I love that they didn't make it like he isn't capable. My favorite line out of the show was when he said, "I was a damn good cop then, and I'm a better cop
yeah,
now." Which
yeah.
is,
That
you
was
know what
that
I
was a
mean?
really good line. Yep.
You're wiser. You have learned from life, from your career. You've gone overseas. I thought that was a great line, and I'm anxious to see what he does in criminal in organized crime. He's 59. He's 59 years old. He
Seriously?
looks he looks
Yeah, then he looks
amazing.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks amazing. Ladies, if you're listening, I know the ladies love love Chris Maloney. He's still in shape. He does, but yeah. So I thought the development, if you will, of Detective Stabler was very well done.
Yeah, and now we start off the new episode of Organized Crime, and yeah, like he is not working for anyone. He is trying to get into New York's organized crime division. They're starting a little, it's kind of reminiscent, if anyone's seen The Wire, like where they just kind of start this little, and that's what it looks like. They're starting a little group of ragtag. Uh, I'm sure within the next few weeks we're going to hear every member of that group is like, like the leader of the group, like, oh well, she didn't get along. She doesn't play by conventional rules, and
Right.
no, she very much at the beginning of this is playing by all the rules, and but like he's bringing along his hacker friend, and I'm sure we're going to get a little setup here, and it seems like we're focusing on one main bad guy.
Right.
And when I saw, oh my goodness, and it's such a cliche because there's a Dermot Mulrooney, Dylan McDermott joke that always goes around, but it's Dylan McDermott.
Yep.
Like Dylan McDermott's name was in the main credits,
Yep.
like not
Yep.
just guest starring as.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And again, I'm thinking maybe he's like the captain of, or he's the leader of the organized crime division. And it was a little bit of a twist that he is not. He is the focus of their investigations.
I actually was hoping when I saw his name, I was hoping he would be his partner. I was like, I could roll with that they would be paired together. Because if you remember, Dylan McDermott, The Practice, Dylan McDermott, Miracle on 34th Street, he can play that charming, blue-eyed, kind of sways you, and that could have been the balance. You know what I mean? We have Stabler, who's ready to pop, and then we have Dylan McDermott, who's actually, he's probably not that much younger, but experienced, and they could have balanced each other out. But seeing him in this position, I was like, or this role, I got no issues with it. I love Dylan McDermott.
No, and it was really well. It was really well done, in my opinion. And again, like Chaz Palminteri, he can only play an aging gangster. Like that's he's Bronx Tale. He's and he played a hardcore racist piece of crap gangster, old school gangster. And here's his son, Dylan, who's married to two black women, we learned, and like has mixed race children, and it was really interesting. And they play him off as this sympathetic character until the end, when he's like, oh no, yes, great, he's not racist, he's open-minded about race, but he is a horrendous human being.
Right.
And there are more, people we thought were good guys throughout the show, we learned are kind of people we can't trust. But on to, with Stabler's story, he's kind of got to beg to get into this organized crime unit, and what it seems like, and this is the criticism I've seen on the internet the last week, the Law and Order fans, they've never experienced like a show that does, oh, you need to watch next week, and you need to watch next week. Yep. Like, this, again, we will see. What I imagine they're going to do is kind of like, if you've ever seen the show Blacklist, like there's a huge overarching storyline, but each week you try to find this new piece of the puzzle. And I think that's what's going to happen with organized crime. Is this week we're going to find the guy who burns illegal CDs or steals YouTube videos, because he one time dealt with this guy, and so there'll be some life-threatening chase that gives him one little more piece, and I look forward to that. Again, like I've set up to record it tonight and record it next week, because I want to see a complete story pan out. Whereas I know with regular SVU, if I don't watch it for 4 more weeks, I can tune into the next, you're
good.
Yeah, I'm good. Because they're gonna say, oh yeah, like Ice-T broke his hand, and but that's what they do. Like, like they're like, oh, Ice-T's up in New York picking up upstate New York picking up a prisoner. Like they just give you a sentence, and so.
Yeah. And I loved that. I think that the first episode for the crossover SVU, I think that felt like SVU. When it went to organized crime, I felt like I was watching the beginning of a movie. Like I felt like I was a little bit tougher, and I was like, I am so with this. Like, and going back to what you said about complaints, I don't like to read IGN reviews. Like I will, right? But I'm jumping right to the comment section, and I think people, we're creatures of habit, right? Most of us, we like what we like it for a reason. Law and Order SVU, Law and Order Criminal Intent. Every once in a while, you got a 2-parter. If it was a big one, maybe you got like a 3-parter, right? Now, you have to be invested in the story. You got to watch it. You're not going to get closure at the end of the episode. You may get some sort of closure, but you're not going to get that closure where like, oh, that was cool. They found the person. We're moving on, right? And I think that's what SVU and even Law and Order delivers so well, is they cram everything into that 45 minutes or whatever, and you're satisfied, right? Criminal Intent, you're going to have to learn the characters. You're going to have to stay focused. You're going to have to tune in every week. You're going to have to make sure you don't jump online and get those spoiler alerts. And like we keep saying, like it's going to be different. Might be some adjusting, but I'm with it. Like, let's see what happens. And you and I were talking about this when we were texting the next day. I would be okay if Dylan McDermott is the villain for like a season. And
sure.
Every season it's like, I don't know, cartel or the mafia or, some, organized gang of obviously organized crime. But I think it's
also important.
All the way.
Right. I think it's also important that they be 10 episode seasons.
Yeah. Of course.
That always. they be shorter seasons, and, because again, you can, I've just finished, well, I'm not quite done yet, but like I was binging all of the Buffys and all of the Angels and watching them like in order. And I had a whole list printed out of how to watch them. And, I'm about like 6 episodes ago in Angel, and it's just that kind of thing. Like, and Blacklist does it. Like, tons of all of the DC TV shows do this with Flash and Green Arrow and stuff. Like, there's a major threat. There's going to be one storyline that ties the whole season together, you know. But that would just be 12 episodes, and not to sound too corny, but British TV nails that. British TV says you have 6 episodes, tell a story. And some of my favorite TV shows are British because, the most they do is 10 episodes in a season. So I'm watching Buffy and Angel, and I'm like, all right, like, if Buffy doesn't get that weapon, they're doomed. And the next episode is about how, a monster has come and the monster makes them all think they're little kids. And they go around and maybe there's a reference to the overarching storyline, but, and then they'll be like, oh, we're all, and again, they're having fun. It's, again, I don't dislike any of the episodes. I was never annoyed by it, but it's like, you had to fill the 24 episode request or the 22, you had to fill that request because TV, especially back then, TV ran with, you showed 12 episodes, then you did some repeats, then you showed another 6 repeats, another 6, and that was September through May. And that's what we did. And now, it's this thing. We don't have to do that. We know that we can have SVU, Law and Order, OC show up every, and then again, it'll help complement the last part of an SVU run. And again, I also no research Richard. I don't remember what Maloney's deal was. Like, was he just burnt out? What did he want to do new things? Like,
there was a shootout in the bullpen, if you will. But
I mean, like, why the actor?
I don't know if he had any issues, but I remember they touched on it, right? And in the show, or did I look it up after that? There was a shootout and he shot a young girl.
Right, he shot a young girl. I think we read about it. I don't think they. Oh no, they. Yeah. I think that they talk about it at the beginning when he's trying to get onto the organized crime division, right. And the lady's like, "You've had 6 shootouts." But yeah, so I need to do some research and see what Christopher Maloney's deal was because, if he was, is he looking to do this for 5 seasons or does he just want to do 1 season and be done? Because that's the key with some of our favorite shows. Like you've fallen in love with Mandy Patinkin on Homeland, whereas I don't know if you've seen Criminal Minds, but Criminal Minds, he's amazing in Criminal Minds, but then he the person was like, this stuff is morbid and horrible and I can't,
I heard that.
and he pieced out and then Joe Mantegna was a great replacement for him, but that's the thing. Like, I wish we'd gotten 15 seasons of it, but again, what would that story have been? Which is key to not lose our focus. The key to SVU success, they haven't had to burn out a character because we've seen Benson with 3 or 4 boyfriends. But we haven't seen her go through 2 pregnancies, go through, things like when you watch sitcoms sometimes or you watch other shows, it's like, how much more can they do to this character? She just, right. They just, and that's what happens is with some of these shows at a certain point, you're like, what more can they do? And what's Claire Danes' name on the show?
Oh, you're gonna kill me now because.
But again, Claire Danes' character from season 1 through 5th, like she goes through 20,000 things.
I just watched it too.
Claire Danes' net worth. I do love how when you do a Google search, that's the first thing that comes up.
All right. Listen, the four of you watching. All right, while we have you.
Tell us Claire Danes. Tell us that Claire Danes' name is Carrie.
Carrie, yes.
Carrie.
All right, so listen, the 4 of you watching, it's 8:33. All right, we got some people. Why don't we do the trivia now while we have them? What do you think?
All right. Now, here's what's interesting. Because, again, no research, Richard, and not a lot of show prep, Ryan. We have now. Are we asking people to actually chime in, or are we going to look? Are you going to read the comments?
Right. So I have a comment section. All right. So Richard's going to ask a question, and let's get some responses.
And it's universal comments. If they reply in Facebook, it all shows up.
When they click, they should be here. Yeah. So just so everybody knows, we're using Restream. This is our first time doing it, so we're learning as well. I have a chat box here. I have 4 of you watching. I see you watching. Richard's got some questions lined up. It's a $50 Target gift card. Don't let Monica win by default because she'll use it. You can use it online. You can use it in the store. You got curbside pickup. You can give it to your aunt. You can let your kids use it, whatever.
Yeah. Mother's Day is coming up. Great gift. All right. And I think, all right. So question number 1. Everyone ready? Yeah, sounds good. Question number 1. I think I'm starting out with an easy one here. Mariska Hargitay has played Detective Lieutenant Captain Olivia Benson for 22 seasons of Law & Order SVU. Who is Mariska Hargitay's real-life mother? Who is Mariska Hargitay's real-life mother?
Who is Mariska Hargitay's real-life mother? Listen, if you're listening, you're on your phone, you're on your computer.
Yeah, you're welcome
look it
to.
up. You got time. Go for it. Who is Mariska? I'm afraid to say it again.
Hargitay.
Mariska
Hargitay's
real-life mother.
Her father, Mickey Hargitay.
Where's she from? While we're waiting, hopefully on the response.
Out from the California area.
She's from California.
She's had a she was a little older than I thought she was. I think she was born in like 64 or 65. It's a great guess, but it's not. She never was called Mrs. Hargitay, or I could give that to you on default. And there's so much trivia about her mother and her mother's passing. It's fascinating. Actually, I've heard her mother's passing mentioned.
Ooh, look at this.
Dozens. Okay, social comments display here.
Can you see them?
Yeah.
Because you know what? As we're all learning, everyone, I could not see that response. I'm glad Richard could. I'm looking. Let's see. Huh?
Oh, here we go.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Look at this.
It's fascinating.
I wish I could write. Can I write the question?
I can't see why not.
All right. What is it? What
is Mariska Hargitay's mom's name? Yeah. She did pass away in the late 60s, tragically in a car accident.
Oh, Shanna.
Did Shanna give the right answer, or she just joined?
Shanna, are you on the air? I see you, Shanna.
Oh.
I see Shanna. I put you on the screen.
She has those earbuds that are in her phone, in her ear. So, all right, and I see a correct answer.
Woo!
I see one correct answer. Yes, we're not going to penalize you for spelling, but Jane Mansfield, Jane with a Y, Jane Mansfield, who was a Marilyn Monroe. She was a bombshell. She was a Playboy bunny, gorgeous woman, and she was Mariska Hargitay's real life mother. And one night while driving to do like San Antonio in the morning, like driving late to get there, Mariska and her 2 siblings were in the back seat of a car, and mom and 2 others were in the front seat, and the tractor and trailer in front of them was spraying. I'm not laughing. Was spraying mosquito stuff. And she kind of like got fogged up. They slammed into the back of the tractor and trailer, killing the 3 adults. Mariska, again, in the back seat, she survived. Her siblings survived. So she was in the car when her mother died, which is fascinating in that, like, she then plays a character for 22 years who's just rooted in, like, you know, her mother, you know, Olivia Benson's mother was a hooker, you know, like,
yeah.
But the reason that tractors and trailers have the bars that they have,
right,
is because of Jane Mansfield dying.
No way.
Yeah.
Because of that death.
Because of that, yeah, it's yeah. She created. They changed some of like so that cars couldn't slide underneath them and stuff like that. Like
wow.
Yeah, and I've actually heard it mentioned several times over the last like year worth of like, don't wear a mask. Don't tell me what to wear a mask. And like people have said like, dude, like Jane Mansfield like crashed into the back of a truck and they changed a law. You know, like
right.
We do things sometimes. So all right, we ready for question number 2? So I guess Renee. I say Kristen.
And real quick, everyone, we have 5 questions total. So we got 4 left. You still got 4 chances to win, right? Right now? Yeah, that's the math. I'm not good at math.
No, but that's all right.
Yeah, okay. So here we go. Next
all
question.
Right. So they're each going to get a little harder. Detective John Munch, later Sergeant John Munch, played by Richard Belzer, was not an original character at SVU. All right, meaning his character developed outside of Law and Order. On what show did Belzer originate the character? On what show did John Munch first appear? And he was on this show for quite some time. So and he was, it's funny because I can share the trivia before without giving away the answer. Detective John Munch or Sergeant John Munch holds the record for appearing the same character appearing on like 10 or 11 different TV shows as that character.
Yeah. And FYI, Belzer was the comedian in the club in Scarface.
Belzer was the comedian in the club in Scarface.
I think.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
I gotta look that up now.
That'd be pretty cool.
I remember I watched it once and I was like, that's Munch back in my right. SVU prime. So we'll ask the question again if you wouldn't mind while I'm doing this.
Yeah. So
because I can't figure out how to type it in the chat.
Sergeant John Munch was not an original SVU character. What show did Belzer originate the character? What TV show did Belzer John Munch first appear on?
Which show did John Munch first appear on? And yes, I'm looking at IMDb. MC at the Babylon Club. So maybe not the comedian, but he was.
He was MC. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he's been on any incarnation of Law and Order except for OC. And he went on like other shows, like yeah. So what? This is so fascinating to me. The multi-platform.
Yeah, I'm playing with it right now. Graphics.
Not gonna lie, I thought this was
Rita George.
That's my aunt. That's my aunt.
Oh, she likes your shirt.
Oh, thank you. Oh yeah, because she just gave it to me.
No, Under Armour. I'm not getting paid, but
this Victory Lane. If you want to give us some, this is Aunt Rita just gave me the shirt to wear for. So I was like, this is perfect. Because I was not actually at Victory Lane for Super Bowl 52. I was at the Simmons' house, but Aunt Rita was there. All right, so what do? We don't have an answer.
We're going to ask it again. Remember, use your resources, everyone.
Yeah, I mean, you could just Google it. Where did the character of John Munch, played by Richard Belzer, first appear? All right, he is a character that was not developed by SVU. He existed before. I am just so fascinated too by this. Like, it's such a cool thing. So where did the John Munch character first appear? And I've never actually seen full episodes of this show. The show is very much was like The Wire before The Wire came out. Oh, that's a really good guess. That is an excellent guess.
Yeah, that is a very good guess.
Or it's a horrendous guess. I'm not really sure.
I was actually thinking the other day, reboot the X-Files. Or did they already? And it didn't work?
They did, but yeah. So
Detective John Munch will go till 8:43. I can't see the clock.
Yeah, and then if we need a tiebreaker, we'll come back to that one.
Yeah.
Because they just get harder from here, so I'm not sure. I might jump around.
I wasn't looking at the clock, but it's 8:43, so we're going to move on to question number 3. But one more time, Richard, question number 2, in case we need a tiebreaker. Sure. So look it up in the meantime.
Yeah, where did the character of John Munch first appear before SVU?
Renee did not like the X-Files.
Yep. Okay. All right. This, again, remember, people, $50 gift card if you just Google the answers. All right? $50 Google if you just
Google the answers.
Just Google the answer.
$50 to Target.
All right. Question number 3. Ice-T has appeared in 450 plus episodes of SVU, and but he was not in the original season. He does not appear until season 2, episode 1, and he was only slated to be in it for like 4 episodes. But I guess they liked this character. What detective did Ice-T replace? All right. So season 1 had a different detective who was partners with Belzer. What was the name of the detective that Ice-T replaced on Law and Order? And I will tell you that I Googled exactly those words to find the right answer. So if you do that.
Replace on SVU?
Yep.
All right. And if you forget, boom, it's in the chat. What? Oh.
But what is that an answer to, Miss Snellman Oppenheimer?
Wait. I don't get it. I don't get her answer.
It's the answer to number 2.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right. So listen, we'll back. I don't know. Am I playing favorites? There are.
I don't know.
There are 5 people watching. All right, Miss Stillman, thank you for the answer. I'll give her 1 point.
Yeah, sure.
That's right. I'm giving my wife 1 point, even though she answered late. All right. Good. Yes. Question number 2.
You know what, Ryan? So I meant to say this to you a few minutes ago.
Wait, she says another listener had it first.
Oh.
Did they? I don't see it in the chat.
So we have to check all of our chats. So we don't see this on Restream right now, but we are a good 20 seconds behind. Oh, Stephen Lacey said it. All right, Lacey. Lacey, I went to high school with Lacey.
Okay.
Lacey knew and Lacey knows homicide because he was a detective in Baltimore for a couple of years. So
where did you see that, by the way?
Where did you see that at, Monica? And on my this is fascinating.
All right. Well, you met Ice-T at the airport. Was he nice, Renee?
Yeah, I met Ice-T at the casino a couple years ago with Coco.
He seems like he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings it to Renee, 1 point, and Stephen Lacey,
1 point. And so, question number 3. All right, so we'll ask our Monica and Renee to keep an eye on a Facebook chat because I don't see it on my Facebook chat.
Yeah, so. I only see it on Restream. So,
and we're an hour and a half. We're an hour and a half behind. That way, in case one of us curses, we can dump it. I don't feel like we've learned how to use the dump button yet, though. So, what was the name of the detective who Ice-T replaced in the second season? Look at this. Fascinating.
All right, so I'm keeping score. Renee 1, Stephen 1.
What was the name of the detective that Ice-T replaced? The actress was not happy with the character development in the first season and decided to jump ship because, she was concerned they weren't going to develop her character.
You know who's an easily forgettable detective? I'm switching shows here. Lesniak from NYPD Blue just disappeared. Just disappeared after like season 3 or something.
Who played that person?
She was a small-time actress. I actually looked it up because we were quarantined and had nothing better to do. She just got out of acting because she was. Oh, we have an answer.
We have the correct answer. Detective Monique Jeffries, who was played by the actress Michelle Hurd, and Michelle Hurd was like, "Peace." Now, not as bad as was it David, the guy with the sunglasses? Eventually, the redhead guy who pieced out of SVU after like 2 seasons. I mean, he pieced out of NYPD Blue after David Caruso left. He pieced out after.
Did you know I heard he's impossible to work with?
That's what they're saying. So yeah, I mean, he did that CSI Miami for several years. So, all right. So we've got Lacey with 1. Renee's got 2. Yeah, Monique Jeffries. She was like, I don't see this show going anywhere, and you guys developing my character. Meanwhile, 22 years later, she would have been. But all right, sorry, Michelle Hurd. Question number 4. Christopher Maloney. During the first 2 seasons of SVU, he also worked another job. All right, he was a regular guest star on a big HBO show at the time. So Christopher Maloney, during the first 2 seasons of SVU, was also a regular on what HBO drama?
I actually just saw this on YouTube, so I want to see somebody get it.
Yeah, and this HBO drama has tons of SVU crossover, and is with 2 big stars crossing over.
And also, one of them may have been a standout character in the Matrix sequels.
And one was one of my favorite characters in Mr. Robot. Up,
Oh,
and Shanna's in with the right answer.
Shanna has the right answer.
All right, yes, Christopher Maloney was on Oz, the final two seasons of Oz, and the first two seasons of SVU, but also Detective Cassidy, Brian Cassidy, I think is his name. Yep, Detective Cassidy, played by Dean Winters. Our younger viewers would probably know Dean Winters best as he plays Mayhem in the like car insurance commercials, And there's
Yeah.
yes, but he's amazing in Oz. And then B.D. Wong plays the psychologist it's spelled Huang, but I also think it's pronounced Wong as well. He's like the Asian, the psychologist. Like they always call in to say, "Hey, help us figure out why this kid's so angry." And so yeah, he played a priest on Oz and a psychologist in SVU, and so Oz was a big, and they have tons of crossover, but of actors who worked on both titles. So yeah, Chris.
Do you think people forget that BD Wong? Well, now people know, but do you think people forget that BD Wong was like a very important part of Jurassic Park, like the entire series?
No, I don't think they. Yeah, I think they forget. Unless you like YouTube a video that tells you how amazing he is and how cool he is. So he's a really cool actor. Yeah. All right, we ready for question 5? Our final question. So we have Shanna's got 1, Renee's got 2, Lacey's got 1.
Yes.
All right. So if Renee pulls this off, she wins. If Lacey or Shanna grabs this, and if anyone else grabs it, or Monica has already taken it and has left the building.
Real quick. Well, sorry, real quick. My mom texted me. Justine Misselli was Adrian Lesniak on NYPD Blue.
Okay.
Again, obviously didn't go on to do much.
No idea. Yeah.
But one season, easily forgettable detective in a series of, you just forget. But thank you, Mom. Moving on to the final.
No, listen. And we can give Mom credit for, I mean though it was your idea. We give Mom credit for that's a whole other SVU side show one day of they've had all these different ADAs, all these different detectives only last year or there.
100%.
The ADA that sticks out in my mind the most is ADA Alexandra Cabot.
She's the one that went into witness protection.
She is the one who went into witness protection.
One of the greatest send-offs ever, I thought.
Yeah. So at the end of season 5, she gets blown up. She's I kind of forget the details. Either she's trying to prosecute someone and someone who's accused of rape, but they're involved with a cartel. So her car gets blown up, and again, tragic ending season 5. We learn later on in that season though that she's alive and in witness protection, and she bounced back and forth from witness protection, and then she actually came out because the actress was going to be the lead in an Law and Order spinoff that was all about the lawyers. The show didn't make it, but the Alexandra Cabot character comes back season 13, 15, etc. The last time we've seen her was season 19. Right. So in season 19, when we see Alexandra Cabot, what is she doing? What is her job? What is her what's her deal? Right. So in season 19, when we see Alexandra Cabot one more time, what is she doing now? She's no longer a lawyer. So that's a huge hint. She's now doing something very specific. Season 19.
In season 19, what is Alexandra Cabot doing?
Yep.
Last thing she's doing?
There's two kind of things that will be considered right answers. Yeah, now these are things I've never seen her reappear again. I mean, and that's again to Shanna's point about what's happened. Why does USA only show the same 880 episodes? And I have seen that episode where she dies and the episode where she comes back. What they do a lot of times is they do marathons of best ADA moments. So I think I see that combination where she comes back. But in my research for the question today is when I discovered that in season 19 she has a whole new role in life besides I think she goes into the cold case department at some point, or she's in the appeals. I think she's trying to do jobs that are chill. But by season 19, she finds for herself a pretty stressful job.
And I got to say, while we're waiting for an answer again, in season 19, what is the last thing that Alexandra Cabot is seen doing? Oh,
Wow, wow. Oh no,
is that right?
no, Renee nailed it.
Renee
Yep.
nailed it. Renee is the winner of the $50 Target
Yeah.
gift
So she
card.
works as a an advocate for abused women, but so that's what everyone in the public thinks. But behind the scene, she's sneaking women like out of their homes, you know, and so that's where her and Benson clash because she Benson wants the battered woman to stay around to help prosecute the abuser. Um, and so yeah, they're not getting along. But yeah, no, that's awesome. Congratulations, Renee, our SVU expert for tonight.
Congratulations to Renee, SVU expert.
So,
And
so Renee, if you just Venmo us or Zelle us $50, we can mail you. We will mail you that gift card. All right, no, but no, seriously, yes, we will get you that gift card.
we get you the gift card, Monica, and you. I'm sure you two will see what it. Wait,
Monica
is it?
walks over to our building, or like, I think she walks over our building a decent amount. And I just don't see her. So
Does she still remember where the bathroom is?
she has not told me. She would say, "Donde está el baño? El baño? The baño?"
All right. Well, so listen, congratulations to Renee, Christine, to everybody who is watching and listening. I think we'll wrap it up here because it is 8:55 p.m. on Law and Order Thursday. So get ready for SVU and episode 2 of Law and Order Organized Crime. Ladies, I know you've been waiting for Christopher Maloney to come back. He's back. He's still in shape at the age
Are
of
they going to
69
find?
years
I was
old.
going to say, is he going to take a shower this week? Right? Or his shirt's going to get blown off? Something's going to happen.
Slowly, well, actually, it's funny you say that because I was watching one episode where he was laying in bed and some woman's frantically calling him, and he's like laying back like this.
Yeah, right.
Like
So
chest out, delts out. So, all right. So, ladies, Christopher Maloney is back at episode 2 of Law and Order Organized Crime tonight. Congratulations to Renee. Thank you very much for participating. Everybody participating, and all six of you who are watching. I'm sure it'll be more eventually.
I think, yeah, right. Yeah, but we found our way to do Facebook Live videos and have people join us without actually having to come to Podbean. So
I'm excited.
Neat. Cool.
All right. So
big thanks, everyone.
Yeah, the big thank you to Richard as always, because it is now the Ryan Mercer Show with Richard Masso. He is my guest host. And we'll be back with another topic for you all very, very soon, maybe even next week. Check it out.
Bye.
Bye everybody.